Hello, hello, and hello again. Everyone, I'm EnviroBoy. You're welcome to call me Scott. Playing more Potion Craft, picking up where we left off last time. I'm told that in the last episode, I perhaps came after the German folk a little too harshly by calling them all horrible, awful people. And while I maintained that it's a unique culture that would develop a word specifically for describing joy in other people's misfortune, I perhaps was a little rash in calling them all horrible, awful people. So I will, in all fairness, to the wonderful yellow, red, and black people of Germany, amend my statement to say that perhaps only most of them are horrible, awful people. And that there may be one or two gems hiding among those striped individuals with their flags that so boldly defy the worldwide insistence that red, white, and blue in some way, shape, or form are the most nationalistic of colors and ought to represent every person in some way, shape, or form. For whatever reason, our monkey brains have decided that colors have meanings. So let it never be said that I can't learn from my mistakes. Now I'm gonna not talk about this anymore. I'm gonna buy some mushrooms probably. Yeah, it's like 60. I don't know that we need. I'm not gonna buy stuff from you actually. Never mind. I'm gonna make potions. You can just stand there in my shop for like a half hour while I make potions. I mean, look at this guy. Look at this guy. He's chill. He's fine with that. Look at him. He's probably just. He's got a real Radagast vibe to him, which tells me that he doesn't really exist on the modern, or in the current realm of existence that the rest of us are there. Coochie coochie coo, Mr. Crooked Nose. So let's just let him relax while we work on making more potions here. So we've the magic, mana, eyesight, hallucinations, anti-magic, and luck. So I'm curious to know what the function of including mana and anti-magic in the same potion are. It feels like they'll cancel each other out, and it feels like perhaps I should be able to just make the potion with visions, hallucinations, and luck, which is to say we're making a potion of magic shrooms, but I guess I'm not the one designing this game, and it feels kind of like the designers at this point in time just kind of rolled a die and decided what they want. I'm sure within their brains there was some sort of thought process about, like, well, we'll just make it nice and difficult for them so they have a nice challenge. How very German of them. So, let's make ourselves a potion of magic and much more, and we'll go from there. Off to a strong start today with this episode. Already rambling about nothing and probably upsetting a million people. All 1 million people who won't watch this video. It's the perfect crime, actually, because who's even gonna see it? It's great. There's a certain joy that comes with anonymity, and that joy is being able to make jokes at other people's expense without anyone being any the wiser. And they say, some might say, and they might question the kindness not inherent in doing such low-based forms of comedy, considering, you know, the concept of you can learn a lot about someone by how well they treat others when they are not required to treat them well, and perhaps that says something about me, but at the end of the day, I'm just being a goofball, putting on a bit of a character so I can, you know, have fun being not myself for a change. Not that I particularly dislike myself, but, like, as evidenced by the entire existence of the career of being an actor, sometimes it's fun to just slip into a role and be someone different. Of course, I'm not supposed to reveal that could even potentially be what's happening here, because it ruins the magic if you pull it back. But then, then 7 layers of then-agains. There's a growing trend in enjoyment of the shattering of the fourth wall. Breaking of the fourth wall, demolishing of it, and one doesn't normally shatter a wall. Usually you shatter like a window, and it's not really what we're talking about now, but I'm beyond even mixing metaphors at this point in time, and honestly, I don't really know what I'm rambling about. I'm just just in a mood to be a goofball, which those who know me probably are like, yeah, what else is new, Buster? But at any rate, we're just gonna go up and add some hallucinations to this potion. Because who doesn't like to see the odd Donnie Darko rabbit every time they drink a cup of tea, right? Like, that's what we do as humans. We intentionally poison our minds and fill entire grocery store aisles with substances to do exactly that. And, you know, and I perhaps would come across a little harsh on that critique of humanity, but at the same time, it is a little shocking sometimes just how much people love to alter their senses. And I don't know, man, like, it gets extreme sometimes, and it's like, geez, man, slow down. You're getting a little crazy with it here. But I don't know, I suppose that's maybe a generational thing, or maybe it's just a situational thing. After all, reality is sometimes kind of tough to bear these days, and so we're all just looking for an escape in some way, shape, or form. Anyways, with that depression heavy in it. Whoops, I'm throwing balls of crystals at people. I suppose that kind of describes... Does anyone remember the times when they had the color runs, and you would be like running and some dude would shove some powder at you, and you'd like end up with a really crappy tie-dyed shirt, but you'd be like, it's really fun and cool and whimsical because they did it while I was running, and it simulated, I don't know, probably something horrible like being tarred and feathered in medieval times, but now that it's innocent and I paid money for it, it's fun and joyful. And so, does anyone remember those? They probably still do those, but you don't really hear about them. They were the it thing for like 2 years in 2015, and then, well, I guess it would be 2015 and 2016 if it were 2 years, but I'm gonna not hold myself to that one. I'm just sitting here and riffing random stuff for the sake of open mic night-esque yucks. And at any rate, as a runner, I might actually have fun with one of those things, but it is kind of a weird thing, and sometimes I wonder exactly what's in those powder paints, because I go to for the nature of my job, I inspect many places, including places that produce or use powdered paints and dyes and stuff like that, and they have to go through a lot of efforts to keep it clean and safe for their employees, including respirators and all kinds of control equipment to capture up the dust and make sure it doesn't go into the neighborhoods. And now I'm running through just clouds of some dude pitching it at my face like it's, you know, some sort of soft pitch inner business league, and thinking that it's super fun. It's probably not a big deal if it's just once in a while, but also at the same time, that particulate matter can't be exceptional for my lungs. I'd still do it, though. I'd still do it. Okay, I need to start with making... Oh, this is going to be a pain. I gotta go all the way over here. These are the times when perhaps having a weak potion of smelly would be helpful, but... I don't know, maybe this is just me learning that I should... Can I put in potion? No, we can't put a potion back in, so I couldn't just, like, put the potion with the ingredients and start there. Like, I know I could just do the start from here, but I don't know what happens if I have a 3 difficulty one and I start trying to overpack stuff in there. I don't know which ones disappear or if it just stops doing the stuff for me, so... I don't want to waste the resources, excuse me, while I take sips of my soda. I'm drinking a delicious Feo Rock and Rye right now, and for those unfamiliar, it's probably kind of a local brand in my area, but Feo Rock and Rye is a pretty rock and roll soda flavor. It's kind of a classic, although I'm willing to acknowledge that might be a regional thing, that like I like it because I grew up with it, and someone else might taste it and be like, this tastes like dog water, and I would, you know, want to do the whole loyalty thing and be all like, how dare you slander it, and be really mad about that, but at the same time, like, I get it, because I feel that way about many other quote-unquote delicacies from other people's childhoods. They'll be like, well, I grew up eating this brand of fish sticks, and I would say, well, I've always found fish sticks disgusting, and I don't know that there's much that's going to change that in my mind, and then people would want to throw hands and, then it just gets really awkward because I'm probably having that conversation with a friend because I'm an adult and I mostly just talk to people that I enjoy talking to. And I suppose the exception to that being coworkers. Not that I dislike coworkers, but I talk to them by virtue of them being coworkers, not my friends and everything. And I don't know that I would feel comfortable throwing fists at them either. So I guess it still kind of ends up with the same thing because I wouldn't want to get in a fight with a friend, but I also wouldn't want to get in a fight with a stranger. A, because it's rude, and B, because you never know just what kind of background some dude has. He might have been like the number one, yard enforcer in prison for 5 years. You don't know what you're gonna come across when you just pick a fight with a guy on the streets, and that's why your best defense is to always just give him your wallet and make a run for it. That's why my best defense, despite all of the martial arts training I've done in my life, perhaps one of my most effective defensive techniques is the fact that I also started distance running. So now I can most likely outrun most people. If they've got a good 200 meter sprint in them or something like that, they might catch me out the gate, in which case, well, I probably wasn't going to get away from them anyway, but as long as if I can hold on and avoid getting punched in the teeth by them for that first step, then probably I'll be good to go from there forward. But the moral of the story is that Rock and Rye is pretty good flavor. You should try it sometime if you haven't. I'm having the sugar-free version because it's not like a particular, I think I'll die if I have too much sugar or anything. I'm a distance runner. I need lots of sugars and stuff in my life, but I like food enough that I don't want to drink my calories because then I have to be really attentive to my calorie intake when I'm also trying to enjoy like a delicious pasta dinner or something. And I prefer to be able to just kind of not have to consider the fact that I was a glutton and slammed down 17 Pepsis in one afternoon because, sometimes that's just the day you're having. Don't drink 17 Pepsis in one afternoon. That's not good, regardless of what type of sweetener is used in it. Artificial, regular, it doesn't matter. That's a lot of Pepsi, and that's not good for you. You should just drink regular water, at least every now and then. Although if the debate is going to be between drinking, 17 Pepsis or drinking like 17 rum and cokes, then I suppose I might go for just like the Pepsi, because like that much alcohol is decidedly worse for you than the not alcohol. Plus, if you have 17 rum and cokes, that's basically like also having 17 Pepsi, so you're just really having like the double whammy of stuff that's not great for you. So this has been health advice with Monotonous and Boy. Don't take it to your doctor because he'll probably laugh and say, why are you listening to some idiot YouTuber about stuff? But if you're just sitting there on rum and coke number 16, maybe this is your sign to look at it and be like, well, maybe we cut it off a little early today, and maybe I just go for a delicious, delightful Sunny D instead. Sunny D, please sponsor me. I'll shill your stuff. It's delicious. It tastes like childhood summer, and I will always love it. Pretty sure this will just bump us over, so we can just kind of keep using this to climb up. That'll be great. Honestly, there are a lot of companies that if they wanted to sponsor me, I'd be on board with it. Not all companies. I'm not that much of a sellout, but there's a handful of them. There's a handful that I would happily shill their stuff for them. So we can do one of these too. I don't want to go all the way up with it because we'll run into some of our stuff. But if we do that, that'll bump us over and that should be pretty safe. Yep, there we go. Work our way up until we have luck. Dooba-dooba-dooba-doo. This is a good effective. I feel like we're having a good day here as far as, spending time in the old potion mines here. The old working the alchemy fields. Making good progress. We've already made one potion. We're working on making another one. Where's the inspiration? Where's that come in? Isn't that back down here? Are we just going back and forth and up and down here? I know inspiration's around here somewhere. Maybe it's down here. Nope. No, perhaps it was further up. That's luck. Anti-magic. There it is. Continue to wind our way up. Perhaps we won't make it as far make as much progress this time around as we had hoped we might. Started off strong, but now we're just kind of ambling around. It sort of started talking. I can't even remember, honestly, if it was the last episode or this episode when I was talking about. I feel like I would probably do exactly this if I were an actual potion maker in real life. Just ramble about general nothingness for far longer than anyone would think is healthy or even possible. Because what else do you do when you're sitting here? I do similar things when cooking and I'm just alone in the kitchen. I'll start babbling and rambling about random stuff just to occupy myself, and one might be inclined to think that that's a little egotistical, that I'm just content to sit there and be amused by the sound of my own voice. I don't have any qualifiers for that. It is egotistical. I'm willing to recognize that. I'm willing to own up to the fact that I amused myself, and that might be a little bit on the arrogant side, but, you know, then again, I'm the one entertaining me. I have to live with me every day. Most of you watching this get to just turn it off and go on with your lives completely scot-free. That's a pun for you to take home. But me, I don't have such luxuries. I have to live with me all day, every day. So if I don't find some way to make that a good thing, then, well, boy, oh boy, it's going to be a long life for me. So that's why I'm here, doing this, saying all this, just trying to while away the hours. Kill time until I can call it a day and pretend I did something, anything productive at all. Anything that, you know, someone might be able to say, well, that was at least a way to spend a day. And then I can respond, it sure was. It sure was. Congenial laugh as the camera pans back and reveals us staring at a sunset. End scene. I've just written a movie. And it's honestly about as inspired as most things that show up in Hollywood. And is that perhaps a large generalization akin to my discussions about the glorious spitting people of Germany in the last episode? Probably. But ultimately, it's probably okay, because I don't think there are going to be many A-listers watching my videos, so they can just take their millions and be happy with their lives that don't include my videos, and that'll be fine. That'll be the status quo. I won't even hold it against them. Oh my gosh, now we gotta go over and add fear to this one. What potion are we even making? Smelly. It's the potion of smell, luck, inspiration, fear, and curse. So we're gonna be making ourselves so beautifully odoriferous that it curses and gives fear to those around us. The curse of loneliness and the fear of said loneliness. For all of those, it's the potion of Axe body spray. The spray that makes every preteen so beautiful and attractive that those around them don't have any chance of getting anyone to go to prom with them. And one might argue that the potion of Tag is perhaps the strongest competitor to the potion of Axe, but at the end of the day, one brand has a significant larger presence in most stores, and you know, and that brand is the one that gets to have the last laugh. And one might argue also that it's because there's just such a limited market and a need for those things, but all the more power to them. If they're the ones who have figured out how to fill the niche of teen kids who have body odor issues and no awareness of how to handle them, then I suppose the fault is with the rest of us for not thinking of it sooner. And that would be, you know, a thing that maybe there is room for some sort of other competitor to come out with. And it seems like maybe in this day and age, the time is right for someone to just crush up a bunch of dandelions or something like that and put it in a spray bottle and market it as the all-natural one for, you know, those kids that are children of, like, the granola crunchers or something like that. But I'm not a marketer, and nor am I a smeller of perfumes and stuff. I'm not the one who I don't get paid the dollars to smell a couple of spices from the kitchen and think that it smells like Antonio Banderas and bring the idea to him to market a cologne that will make people feel like perhaps they too have a chance at, being as much of a heartthrob as Zorro himself. How do I have 286 of these bananas? I must be getting like 800 bananas from every plant. This is getting a little out of hand. Wait, hold on. All right, show me your goods. I'm gonna sell you so many bananas. Look at these bananas. Look at this. I'm gonna sell him like 200 bananas, and I'll still have so many bananas. We'll sell him 180 bananas. We're gonna haggle with him too. We're gonna end up with so much. I honestly have so many of these things. I'm gonna start selling all of the things that I have over 100 of, just because I can, and just because this guy looks like a bit of an easy mark. Honestly, this guy looks like he doesn't even understand how like a cell phone works. He's ancient. There's no idea. He has no clue. We're gonna be able to really pull one over on him. I guarantee it. Look at these. I've got 200 of so many of these things. I don't need these. We're gonna. It's time for us to expand our business. We've been selling potions. We've been selling potions and nothing else. We've maxed out his money. Okay, we're gonna have to get some stuff from him. We'll get some of the things that we don't have. Oops. We don't have the outrageous amounts of, just for the sake of expanding our inventory and, extracting from him as much money as we can. This will work out well in our favor, I promise. I promise this is going to be worthwhile in the long run. Just watch. Like, this is the type of stuff that AI is teaching us how to do. Ways to extort one another in pointless ways that just make money exchange hands without really contributing anything of worth or value to society. This is the modern way. It's the profitable way, and we talk about it many times, such as when playing Stardew Valley, that really, if there's not if we're doing anything in today's society, it should be figuring out ways to make crazy amounts of money. It's what life is all about, or so I feel I have learned from observing other people and their behaviors in the world. The people that are widely considered to be the most successful people, the ones that have tons of money and perhaps a problem, akin to some form of kleptomania, but we celebrate it because they've managed to turn their issues into a way to make money for both themselves and profit and shareholders, which, if there's one thing if there's anything more important than helping people who don't even produce a product to make money off of it, then I don't know what it is. And I frankly think that you would be lying if you're going to profess such a thing. It's an absurd concept. The most important thing is to get something for nothing. That's the way of the world these days, and that's what we're doing now. I have a garden. Plants just manage themselves. They just grow. Like, I might add the water, but it's only because they didn't program rain into this game. Frankly, I think watering does nothing but make our crops weaker. Cornfields with sprinkler systems, they're only hurting society. They should be breeding plants that survive droughts, so that way when we inevitably trigger the apocalypse in the real world, we'll have crops that can handle it and thereby subvert even the concept of an apocalypse. That's really what we should be doing. All of our crops should be Darwinist, and if that results in people starving, then frankly we're just doing best by, human society as well, by doing the same thing. Alright, well, we've maxed out how much money we're going to get from him, and I don't want to get any... Okay, hold on, if that's all he has, there's not even any point in haggling at this point, because we'll get like another 50%, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take all of this back, and we'll just haggle for as much as we can get, right? Because if we haggle it... Yeah, we'll just see how much more we can get. There we go. But yeah, like, if we're worried about people starving, then frankly, it just sounds to me like we need to be better. Oh my god, we lost... There's so much more money we left on the table. Alright, Wang, just take it. Just take it. Take it and get out of here, you broke old man. Get out of here. Alright, anyway, so we've handled that. Now, what am I supposed to be doing? Oh yeah, I I did that because I started freaking out about having so many bananas. It was ridiculous. They were taking up all of the room in the pantry. We were getting a real fruit fly problem. It was bad all around. Bananas are great until you have too many of them, and then it's like, oh, I can make banana bread, but I only have so many neighbors to donate it to, and so many stomachs of my own to fill, so it was for the best. It was for the best. For the best that we got rid of the bananas. It was like Old Yeller, like, can't you see I don't want you anymore? That wasn't Old Yeller, that was a different one. It's all of those sad dog movies, in some way, shape, or form, kind of blend into each other in my brain, because ultimately it's all, like, there's a heartbreak moment where we have to lose the animal, and then there's some sort of redemption, I guess it's except for Old Yeller, that's kind of the exception of that one. Spoilers. I mean, you know, we all know Old Yeller. It's such a cliched joke. I don't even feel bad about potential spoilers on that one. If you don't know the story of Old Yeller, you probably would have heard about it at some point in time in the next 2 or 3 weeks, because that's just how ubiquitous it is. At any rate, now that I've mentioned it, you're going to probably hear all kinds of things about it, and you're going to be like, that's what that reference is. Oops. Throwing giant boluses of mashed plants, as one does when getting just a little too into the process of making potions. We all get excited sometimes. Throw things. Take our mashed up food boluses. Wait, hold on. Was that the right one? That wasn't the right one. I just ruined my potion. Do I have a salt that undoes that? Restores life. Alright, well, here's what we're gonna do. That wasn't the one I needed, was it? No, I needed curse. Not enlargement. Where is curse? It's way down there. Oh, shoot. It's way further down. Well, that feels pretty stupid of me to have done. We're going to go ahead and go down and just see if we can salvage this potion. I'm going to see what one, because it's ruined anyway, so we might as well go down and see which one gets replaced. And if it's not that one, then I may have to stop this recording day early so I can maybe go cry to myself, because a lot of time spent playing this, working on a really out there and absurd potion. We're gonna go see which one gets replaced, if any of them. And we're gonna hope for the best. And if you're not hoping for my success, then you might be German. He keeps going back to that well, and I don't even know if we understand that joke anymore. He just keeps going. He understands it's not funny, right? That was from the perspective of everyone watching this, presumably. Anyways, we're getting close to it. We're gonna find out. I don't know which. I have never gone through the process of trying to cram in more into one, so I don't know what's gonna happen with this one. We're so close to finding out. Gonna get there. All right. Yep, okay, it's just gonna push out the last one. Alright, well, we're gonna go ahead and trash that potion. Yeah, I'm just gonna reset that potion. We're gonna call it an episode there. I'm not gonna give you the other 2 minutes because I'm dying inside right now. All that work, that was like 20 minutes of work. All gone. All gone. Anyway, I'm gonna say thank you so much for joining me. I love and appreciate every single one of you. Pay close attention when you're making your potions, because boy oh boy, this game's gonna go out of its way to make it really complicated and difficult for you to have the potion that you need. So yeah, here you go. Okay, anyway, love you. Bye. I'm full of rage right now. Full of genuine rage at myself. That was so much effort. So much work. So much work, all gone. All completely gone. I mean, we had to go all the way around the whole exterior to make that one. I wonder if there's a way that I can just mod myself into having that one. Probably not. Probably done for.